Fine, it's fine. So anyway, as promised, yeah, holding Bossman Champloo accountable, right? Virgin right here. This is one of the senseis and sifus. You understand?
No. You're not going so far. You're not going so far.
So
there's a practitioner that really love the game.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So let me hold on. No, you see what? Alright. You see what happened is that this thing was shaking a while ago. Anyway, so there's an what you call an intersection between MMA and chess, which both of us have a particular understanding of, right? And I remember it was Gotham Chess that I saw on TikTok.
Okay.
He made like he was talking about the difference between advanced players and beginner players, saying that certain players think that the bishops are better, some people say that knights are better, right? So I don't know if I can find the video.
By the way, very good channel. I love that channel.
I know. No, he did a he made a reference to somebody playing, and he's like, listen, you could make that move. However, what if your opponent doesn't have brain damage?
Right. I mean, the Croatian, there's this Croatian guy, Agamat or something like that. He's really good too.
Him, yeah, the Agadmator. I remember him.
In terms of just pure like entertainment and bringing it to a level where even the beginners who just love chess.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does it better than Gotham Chess. I mean, he is just.
No, he's. You know what? You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
He reminds me of this anime content creator named NC Hammer. Yeah, now NC Hammer, I call him the Hokage of Naruto knowledge.
Right.
Like, when it comes to everything, like, because he has like 3 channels. I think he might have the Weeb Commander,
right,
where he talk about anime in general.
Right.
Otaku's Anonymous.
Right.
Otaku's Anonymous, and then he also has his personal channel, NC Hammer.
Okay.
And on that, every time he talk about like what going on in Naruto, I'm like, this guy's a goat. Like, so he reminds me of that guy. But
right,
Gotham Chess is like he make fun of like the AI chess bots, right? He make fun of people that make some crazy moves. Then he have this weird thing where he'll be in the middle of a play and he'll literally criticize himself while playing and be like, oh God, you know.
In his live,
yeah.
But what was it that what was it? He was speaking about the bishops and
right. So now that we get back to that,
yeah.
My favorite term for the knight is called the Trojan horse.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Because in my history of playing chess,
right,
I have never trusted a move from a knight ever.
Really?
Never.
You mean when the opponent has it or when you have it?
When they make a move.
Right.
Because every time somebody moves a knight,
right,
there's always something suspicious about it.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
If you want to call it the shinobi of the chess world, that's what I call it. Yeah? In other words, the knight is if you're talking about fighting game mechanics, right?
Right.
You can block. You can block jabs, right? You can even get away from crosses and hooks.
Right.
You can get away from that. That's what the bishop is.
Right.
The bishop is that because you can block a bishop. There's a pawn that you can place and block off the trajectory of a bishop's line of attack. Another thing you can do too is that when you're on if it's on a white square,
correct,
the bishop on the white square, if you want to avoid that bishop, go on a black square and you're safe.
And the black square.
Right. No. What about the knight? One, the knight can jump over its own pieces. So that's the first thing. It can jump over its own pieces, it can jump over your pieces.
Yep.
Then
it's like a phantom.
Right.
It's like a real phantom. What's the X-Men character?
Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah. No, here's the other thing too. I just remember this. If we're talking MMA, the knight is clearly the grappler. Okay. Clearly the grappler has to be because what? Even in fighting game mechanics, when Zangief does this, you can't block that. There's no blocking and grab.
Okay.
Every Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, any fighting game, if somebody does that, you can't block it.
Right.
Just like in MMA, you can't block somebody's takedown.
Right.
You can stop the takedown and counter throw,
right.
but you certainly can't block it.
Right.
You cannot block. Like for example, when it comes to checks in particular from either rook, bishop, or anything else, that's not a knight.
Yes.
You can block the bishop, the rook, the queen, anybody that is launching a check. So you can block those.
The record, guys, when you say block, essentially mean put one of your pieces in between the line of fire, between that piece and the other piece. I guess it wouldn't include a pawn because the pawn has to be right next to you. So you can't block the pawn. But all the other pieces, you can kind of put a piece in between the line of fire. By the way, just real quick, let me just give a shout out to Jordan right now, because I don't know if he remembers this, but back in the day when I just started playing chess, like I really always had an affinity and love for it, but I never really had the opportunity to play. I was like just starting, like resuming, because I played in the 4th grade, and the 11th grade it kind of started picking up activity at our high school. And then,
in fact, just to put it out there, I am literally the one who basically started the whole, like the wave of chess activity that happened. I basically started.
You were definitely like
I basically started.
Guy with the same last name as me. Brown,
Sean,
remember Brown?
No, it was Sean Reed that I was
playing.
No,
I know Sean Reed, but there's another guy. But anyway, it's not important.
Oh yeah.
So the point is this. I remember one of the first things they told me. They're like, always remember to defend your pieces, like support, a little support, like that was like a little theme, right? And then it always stuck with me, and that's like one theme of many. And since then, like that's when when I switched schools, I really got like obsessed with chess, and then my chess got to another level. I had like slow internet at the time, so it was like, you know, my research, I didn't have books, so my research, I had to like learn by trial and error from like school and stuff. Played for that high school tournament, did well, but it was since then like my chess just got to another level. But I always remember you, like you were definitely like that grown base at start before my chess like you know, and I was, you know, so you know, just a show.
No, I mean, and it's funny because I felt frustrated because I felt like I got to a certain level and plateaued. Like that's what happened to me. Like I was here like I can't beat the masters, but I'm up there with them, so it's weird.
Life.
You know?
Okay, sorry.
No, it's not. No. So here's the other dope thing, though. The other dope thing is, as we were mentioning knights and bishops, one of the craziest things I've ever witnessed in my life is there was a move that I saw where a queen dropped right between the king and the king and the rook, right? Okay. So let's say the king is here, the rook is here, and the queen drop right here, and then the knight is supporting that queen. So here's the problem. The problem is the king cannot capture because it's overloading. You understand? The piece is being protected by the knight. So because of that, you have to capture with the rook. Now when he captures with the rook, guess what happened? The rook is right here and the king is right here. The next move for that knight is to do what? Boom. Go right here, put him in check, lock him right there, so check me.
So it was a smother mate, was it? Was it a smother mate?
I don't even know if that's the term. All I remember is that what happened is, so the king is here, the rook is here, about maybe 2 or 3
probably. It was probably because the king had nowhere, so obviously it's a check.
And then also, you could never pull off that mate without a knight. But it's not possible. That's
a beautiful thing.
It's not possible.
Let me say this because, you know, this was an impromptu thing. Actually, I have to go in like 2 minutes. But let me just say this. Share my thoughts. Real quick thoughts.
Yeah, man.
Of course, we made the really deeper insights into a lot of things with chess. I want to do it for mixed martial arts as well. There's actually a saying that I heard a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago and stuff. You're always learning, right? So the knight and bishop, for those of you who don't know, are generally thought to be worth 3 points, right? You don't, in chess, you have to be careful watching that whole point thing. The game, that's how much I love this game. Is the theme of the game, you can't just be like, oh, I have more points, I'm winning.
Right.
No, you watch a board.
The position.
Right.
You have to watch the squares that you have that are safe for you and that are dangerous for them.
Right, there's
How
a
much
lot of ways
it's a thing. It's a thing called territory. For the Yu Yu Hakusho fans, it's that reference to, again, territory.
Right.
And that came before even Jujutsu Kaisen now, where they talk about domain expansion. Similar thing, right? You literally focus on dominating squares.
Right. So
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of and we can get into like the themes of how to assess who has a better position in chess and stuff. But this is a point, John. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. So you know about the 3 points, right?
Yeah, man.
There's a little thing where they say a bishop is worth 3.5 points, a knight is worth 3, unofficially.
And you know what?
So
the only reason why I could justify that is because of the space that the bishop can
A big
cover.
part of space. And let me
Yeah.
show you a little trick that I love to use in the endgame. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I actually, let's say you're down to a couple pawns on the board.
Yeah.
And by the way, knight and bishop are called minor pieces, right?
Yeah.
A couple pawns on the board. Same amount of pawns on each side. Right? My opponent has a knight, I have a bishop. I love knight because knights are subjectively tricky. Objectively, a computer and engine can look ahead and whatever, but for a human, a knight is tricky, right? It keeps moving his odd ways and the damn thing, especially if you're on the time constraints.
There's this MMA move that I see like wrestlers do, where they do this thing where they dip the knee down and spring. You know that little
They call it a duck under, maybe it's a duck under.
Yeah, like it's this weird move that they do where like the knee almost touch the ground.
Yes.
And then them spring from it and then lift and go and so it's almost
also, it could be a double leg as well. Or?
Yeah, but I've seen it as like a drill that they do. Yeah.
And it kind of misdirection. Kind of has a misdirection aspect to it. Like it could be a duck under.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing now. But there's a little strategy I love to use if I have a bishop. So at first, when I was starting off, I loved the knight because it was trickier.
Yes.
For that same reason, human thing. And I actually used to just get rid of my opponent's knight. So I didn't have to look.
Didn't have to think about it. I know that. I used to do that too.
I stopped doing that. Here's a trick now. If you can just stay calm, keep your nerve. A lot of things, fighting, chess, you have to keep holding your nerve, right? You have to almost eliminate that human side and become a machine.
Yeah.
And I use my bishop defensively, and I'll put the bishop
in a spot where the knights can move.
So you just cut off.
Yeah, you cut off.
And the knight would be dead.
Yeah.
But no, of course, as the game continues and progresses, you may have to move the bishop out where you probably can't keep it there forever, but at least hold the knight at bay temporarily, so you can do other things.
Yeah.
Right? So you can do these little annoying tricks.
So you eliminate the threat of the forward progression.
Eliminate the threat of the forward progression. So if the knight is in a position, it just can't go to certain spots. So that's something that I love to do. So I actually, here's a quick other theme, guys. If you're just learning to play chess, they say, and then after this,
yeah man.
So they say that bishop tends to love open games, so that's open spaces.
Exactly.
For the same reason, so the
yeah, exactly.
Knight tends to love
the closed spaces because it can jump over it.
Can jump over it. Can jump over it. And just move over anything.
The knight and the knee starts with K because it's silent.
That's fun. That's hilarious. That's good.
It's
bars. But not rapping. Bars.
It's just facts. Yeah, it's the flexibility of the piece. One of the things that I used to do when I was like a novice, right? I remember the first time somebody like used a knight and literally like captured like my pawn, the pawn structure that I had in front of my castle. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing that and going, yo, what? Why the man not do this? So I recapture, thinking, yo, I'm safe, but I don't worry about the entire file down there. So now the rook just have it lock off. So now I am there with my king right there. So my pawn literally just move. I just recapture, right? Opening a file for my opponent, and then now them just come down and barrage down there. So before I know it, checkmate. So and I'm like,
it was a sacrifice of
basically, yeah. It was a gambit. And it was a kind. In fact, after that happened to me, I started like, when I tell you I emulated that, every excuse I could have find to give somebody that kind of checkmate. it's like you're bleeding on the people that didn't cut you.
So like honestly, I love chess. There are times I go like, F this game.
No, because you know why? No, because
like especially Blitz, I think it, well, I mean even any game, but
you see
Blitz fast,
Blitz for me is how do I put this? Like you have to be really good at like memorizing and moving, like because there are mistakes that you'll make in Blitz that you'll never make in a real game.
No. Unless I said never.
You know what I said never?
Classic chess.
The only people who really play Blitz almost on the same level is like the Carlsons and the Nakamuras. Them not human. Oh. Like I am a human. I accept that I'm not artificial intelligence.
You see them play Blitz and bullets.
No, and then you know the worst thing about it, like sometimes you can see Carlson frustration when he loses to Nakamura. Like sometimes he'll be like,
that's
why did I do
one place where that's one place where they're just right.
Yeah.
Close. No, I mean, funny enough, as presently as we're speaking, even that's one place where the rivals, Carlson is. He was like the highest rated in all formats.
Yeah.
But he's the highest rated by a margin, by a gap, and sometimes that margin is a big jump.
Of course, yeah.
But right now, by a margin in classical chess, funny enough, Nakamura was undefeated in classical chess for a while up until recently, and the date we're recording this is July 31st, I'm sorry, 2024.
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, July 31st, yeah.
July 31st, 2024. So up until some tournament like a couple months ago, he was undefeated. You know what? It may have been the one for World Championship, the candidates. I think that's when he got his first loss in like a year or something crazy like that in classical chess. So, and in fact, he briefly broke into number 2, broke the 2800 thing, because that 2800 thing is like, that's where it's just the thinnest of air, the highest of the mountain peak, where the elite, that's like elite territory nowadays. If you break that 2800 mark, you are like amazing. I wanted to see Carlson break the 2900 mark. I don't think it's going to happen, but anyway. Content for the other day.
Yeah.
To speak about Jordan. This was fun. Just in a short space of time.
All I can tell you is that this is just one of the whole heap of different things, right? So yeah, you know, MMA and funny story. Even the anime that my page is based off, Bossman Champloo, which is the anime Samurai Champloo. The character Jin. His sensei and him used to play chess all the time. It was actually shogi for them because I don't know. I think the only difference between their version of chess and ours is that they have an additional piece called the shinobi. Everything else, they have knights, they have bishops, they have everything else is the same, but they have like the shinobi in addition to that. But it's really cool how even that game was referenced in Samurai Champloo, and him and the master would always like talk about, you know, like how it relates to martial arts and this and that, and knowing when to either go and make an advance or when to let something go. Because sometimes you have to realize when something is not worth it. You know, it's just like when you're in a fight. It's like, okay, if I step a little bit too close, I'll get rocked because I'm moving too much in his space and I'm moving to his dominant hand, which can end up giving me that what they call it, the H-bomb from Dan Henderson.
That's what I learned. Like that's what I never forget, because everybody was like talking about that. There's a theme in like MMA when Mike got knocked out by everybody was like, oh, he's circling to the power hand, and from that, like I've always thought, oh, you crowd the weak side, like that definitely influenced.
You know what that is? Like you know what that is? But you know what that is though? That's the equivalent of what we said about the bishop.
Yeah.
You stay off of if you know him there on the white square, go to the black.
Yeah.
If he's on the black square, go to the white. So if you know said this man is a deadly orthodox, you stay on him southpaw side.
Yeah.
In fact, I made a reference where I was making an analogy about people saying, you know, put your best foot forward. And I say, really and truly, you actually have your best foot behind you, really.
100%.
And that's in track and field and in martial arts. Because if you're going orthodox, your right leg is behind you.
Right.
So when you're throwing that you know, whether it's overhead, whether it's direct,
right,
the drive that you're getting is from the right leg into your right shoulder into the shot.
Definitely.
So I don't know if I made the reference in Bossman Digital Media, but overall I made that reference because I'm like, ironically, your best foot is really behind you, even when you're sprinting. Because if it's not behind you, you're not going to be able to make the first step with it.
Right.
So therefore, it has to be behind you before it's in front.
But we're gonna wrap up now. So how we do is turn this off. Now you just stop it. Big up everybody. Bless up. Follow Bossman Champloo.
Yeah. Bonus footage. Yeah.